Chapter 1: A Desperate Encounter. The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly beyond the reinforced viewport of the ardent Voyager, a solitary silhouette drifting amid the scattered remnants of the shattered star system known as Alicia's Grave. Captain Marcus Hale sat alone in the dim glow of the bridge's control panel, his gaze fixed on the dying star's feeble light as it struggled to pierce the swirling nebula of cosmic dust and fractured asteroids surrounding the long-abandoned space station. The station was a relic of a bygone era, a once majestic hub of commerce and diplomacy, now a ghostly skeleton of rusted metal and fractured glass that whispered secrets of lost civilizations and forgotten wars. Marcus had been dispatched on a routine salvage mission, instructed to scour the ruins for anything of technological or monetary value that could be brought back to Earth's colonies and trade networks. His crew was limited, his resources stretched thin, and the risks of such ventures were well known. Many who had ventured into Alicia's grave never returned. As the ardent Voyager inched closer to the station's outer docking ring, its thrusters sending up clouds of cosmic dust disturbed by its slow approach, Marcus felt a familiar mixture of anticipation and unease. There was something about the silent stations like this forgotten in the cold reaches of space that drew him in, as though the very bones of the station held a pulse beneath their rust and decay, a story waiting to be uncovered. The docking clamps engaged with a heavy metallic clang, reverberating through the ship's hull, and the artificial gravity hummed to life. The airlocks hissed open, releasing a faint cloud of stale atmosphere tainted with the scent of burnt circuits and oxidized metal. Marcus stepped through the narrow corridor connecting the ship to the station, his boots echoing against the cold steel floors as he moved cautiously into the shadows. The station was a maze of silent corridors and broken passageways, the flickering emergency lights casting long, distorted shadows on the walls. His hand instinctively went to the sidearm holstered at his waist, a standard-issue plasma pistol, ready for whatever might lurk in the darkness. The station had been uninhabited for decades, but rumors of hostile scavengers, or worse, had made him wary. As he progressed deeper, the faint hum of failing power grids blended with distant creaks and the unsettling drip of leaking coolant. Then, in the farthest recesses of the abandoned habitation sector, Marcus heard a soft, ragged breath, a sound alien in this cold void. Pressing forward, he found her, an alien woman collapsed against a bulkhead, her delicate frame pale and frail beneath a cloak of tattered fabric. Her skin shimmered faintly under the emergency lights, a subtle iridescence that hinted at a biology unlike any Marcus had encountered. Her eyes large, almond-shaped, and glowing softly with a pale violet hue fluttered open and fixed on him with a mixture of fear, desperation, and something inscrutable that stirred deep within his chest. Her voice, when she spoke, was a whispered melody laced with urgency and fragility, yet threaded with undeniable strength. "I need your help," she breathed, each word a fragile lifeline cast across the void between them. "One choice, one decision, could save my life, or doom us both." Marcus knelt beside her, heart pounding with a blend of caution and compassion. Her wounds were severe, deep lacerations and burns that spoke of a violent struggle, but also of neglect and exposure to the merciless void of space. Without immediate aid, she would not survive long in the station's failing environment. Yet, more than physical healing, it was the weight of her words and the mysterious urgency in her eyes that gripped Marcus. Who was she? What fate awaited her? And what choice could he possibly make that held such devastating consequence? As he tore a strip of cloth from his jacket to fashion a makeshift bandage, the station around them groaned, a reminder that time was scarce and danger imminent. The ruins whispered warnings in the silence, but Marcus knew one truth above all. Sometimes, in the darkest corners of the universe, a single choice could become the fulcrum on which lives and destinies balanced precariously. He met her gaze, steady and resolute. "Tell me everything," he said quietly. "I'm listening." And in that desolate place, beneath the cold gaze of distant stars, the alien woman began to unravel a story of betrayal, desperation, and a shocking proposal that would change Marcus's life and the fate of worlds forever. The alien woman's breath hitched as she struggled to speak, her shimmering violet eyes flickering with a strange mixture of pain and hope. "My name is Alara," she said slowly, each word a fragile thread weaving a desperate plea. "I was a diplomat from the planet Lysura, betrayed by my own people and hunted by those who fear the truth I carry. I escaped with something they must never find, something that could change the fate of entire star systems." Her voice faltered, but there was no mistaking the gravity behind her confession. "But I am dying. The station's environment is failing, and without help, I will not survive the night." Marcus tightened the makeshift bandage around her arm, feeling the tremor in her slender frame. The Ardent Voyager's medical bay was miles away, and even if she survived the journey, there were no guarantees in the endless cold of space. Yet, what captivated Marcus beyond her injuries was the weight of the secret she alluded to, the promise of a power or knowledge that had driven a diplomat to flee, hide, and now to plead for a stranger's aid. "What is it you carry?" Marcus asked cautiously, his mind racing with possibilities. "Weapon, data, something more alien, more dangerous than he could imagine." Alara's gaze darkened. "An artifact from the ancients, the creators of the universe's first starships. It holds a power beyond comprehension, but also a curse. Those who possess it become targets. And it demands a bond." She paused, eyes searching his face as if measuring the depth of his soul. "One choice, one binding promise. I offer it to you. Help me survive, and together we can unlock its power and protect countless lives. But refuse, and it will consume me and anyone who stands in its path." A heavy silence fell between them. The implications were staggering. Marcus, a man who had spent years navigating the treacheries of space politics and the cold calculations of survival, suddenly stood at a crossroads where human life, alien secrets, and cosmic power collided. The station's failing lights flickered, casting shadows that danced like ghosts on the walls, a reminder that time was fleeting. Steeling himself, Marcus nodded slowly. "All right, Alara, I don't fully understand what I'm getting into, but I'm not about to let you die here." He helped her to her feet, supporting her frail form as they made their way back through the echoing corridors toward the Ardent Voyager. Each step was a gamble, with unknown enemies possibly lurking and the station's integrity worsening. But a promise had been made, and with it, a fragile hope that neither would break. Chapter 2: The Binding Proposal. Back aboard the Ardent Voyager, the sterile hum of medical equipment and the soft glow of diagnostics contrasted starkly with the grim silence of the derelict station. Alara lay on the bio-bed, her body weak but her eyes sharp as she explained the nature of the artifact and the choice she proposed. The device, she revealed, was not merely a relic but a living entity, an ancient symbiosis that could bond with a host, granting powers beyond human comprehension, enhanced strength, telepathic abilities, and access to knowledge long lost to the galaxy. But it came at a cost. Once bonded, the host shared their life force with the entity, forever intertwined in a delicate balance of power and sacrifice. Marcus listened intently, weighing the impossible choice laid before him. To accept the bond was to step into the unknown, to risk his humanity for the chance to save Alara and perhaps countless others threatened by forces hunting the artifact. To refuse meant condemning her to death and losing a power that might tip the balance in a galaxy teetering on the edge of chaos. "Why me?" he finally asked, his voice thick with uncertainty. "Because," Alara said softly, "the artifact chooses its host. It senses your spirit, your resilience, and your will. It does not bind lightly. You carry a light in the darkness, Marcus Hale." Her gaze held his, unwavering and filled with an ancient sorrow. "One choice, one bond. It will save my life, and together, we might change the fate of the stars." The ship's corridors hummed quietly beyond the medical bay, unaware of the cosmic decision unfolding within. Marcus knew that accepting would bind his fate to hers in ways he could not yet grasp. But in that moment, faced with the desperate hope in Alara's eyes, he made his choice. "I'll do it," he said, voice steady despite the storm raging within. "Whatever it takes." As the bond ceremony began, a fusion of alien ritual and technology, Marcus felt a surge of energy course through his veins, a connection that transcended the limits of biology and spirit. The universe seemed to hold its breath, awaiting the new path forged by one choice that could save a life, and perhaps the galaxy itself. The moment Marcus uttered the words, "I'll do it," a ripple of energy surged through the medical bay, faint yet undeniable, as if the very fabric of the ship and the cosmos themselves responded to the ancient bond awakening between man and alien. Alara's eyes brightened with a mix of relief and something deeper, an unspoken gratitude that transcended words. The artifact, a crystalline shard no larger than a human palm, but pulsing with an inner light, hovered gently above her chest, tethered by invisible tendrils of energy that reached out and sought Marcus like a thread pulling two disparate souls together. The atmosphere thickened, charged with a strange resonance that hummed through Marcus's body, wrapping around his nervous heart and steadying his mind with a newfound clarity. The alien ritual was unlike anything Marcus had ever encountered. Alara, despite her frailty, guided him through an ancient ceremony blending technology and mysticism, whispered incantations in a language older than stars, symbols etched in light across the walls, and a delicate dance of hand movements that seemed to coax the artifact's power into their intertwined beings. As the bond formed, Marcus felt an overwhelming surge of sensations, visions flooding his mind of distant worlds, forgotten histories, and a profound connection to the life force of the universe itself. His senses sharpened. The hum of the ship's engines became a symphony, the faintest vibrations of the station's failing hull registered as rhythmic pulses. The artifact's presence was both intoxicating and humbling, a gift and a weight he now carried with irrevocable responsibility. Alara's breathing steadied as her color returned, her strength rekindled by the symbiotic energy flowing between them. She reached out, her hand trembling but firm, and grasped Marcus's. "You've saved me," she whispered, her voice imbued with renewed hope and fierce determination. "But our journey is far from over. The artifact's power has marked us both. Those who hunt me will now come for you as well. You are no longer just a man, Marcus Hale. You are the bearer of a legacy older than any star." Marcus's mind raced with questions, fears, and the weight of the unknown. The choice he made was not simply to save a life, but to intertwine his fate with Alara's and the mysterious forces surrounding the artifact. It meant stepping into a hidden war, one fought in shadows and across the void, where allies were few and enemies merciless. Yet beneath the daunting uncertainty lay a flicker of something precious: purpose. For the first time in years, Marcus felt the stirring of a cause worth risking everything for. As the bond settled, the ardent Voyager's systems suddenly flickered, a warning from the depths of space. Sensors picked up multiple energy signatures approaching the station at high velocity. Hunters, mercenaries, and assassins sent by those desperate to claim the artifact's power for themselves. The quiet sanctuary of the station shattered, replaced by the roar of alarms and the frantic scramble of Marcus's crew. Alara's eyes glowed fiercely, the artifact's energy responding to the threat, rippling outward like a protective shield ready to defend its hosts. Marcus rose swiftly, rallying his crew to prepare for battle. The choice to bind with Alara had thrust him into a perilous conflict, but he was no stranger to danger. With newfound strength coursing through his veins and the unyielding determination in Alara's gaze beside him, he vowed to protect her and the legacy they now shared against all who would threaten their lives and the fate of the galaxy. Together, they faced the approaching storm, bound by a choice that could save her life but might cost them both everything. The alarms echoed through the cold corridors of the ardent Voyager as Marcus rallied his crew to action, their faces a mix of fear and fierce determination. Alara's form, though still fragile, radiated a strange and potent energy, the artifact's presence enveloping her like a living aura of protection and power. The hunters closing in were relentless vessels streaking through the void with lethal precision, their intent unmistakable: to seize the artifact and eliminate anyone who stood in their way. Marcus felt the weight of his choice settle deep within him, a bond not only of power but of unbreakable responsibility. The ship's weapons systems hummed to life, guided now by the combined awareness shared through the artifact, allowing Marcus and Alara to anticipate and counter the incoming attack with a synchronicity born of their fusion. In the command center, frantic communications filled the air as tactical officers coordinated defense grids, and fighter deployments. Marcus's enhanced senses allowed him to perceive the subtle fluctuations in enemy movements, guiding his crew through evasive maneuvers and precision strikes. Alara, despite her weakened physical state, directed energy flows to reinforce the ship's shields, her mind linked with the artifact's ancient intelligence. Together, they transformed the ardent Voyager from a vulnerable salvage vessel into a beacon of resilience and deadly efficiency. The battle was fierce, a chaotic ballet of light and shadow as enemy fighters surged like swarms of predatory insects. Yet each attack was met with calculated resistance, every strike from the artifact's energy reverberating through Marcus's body and mind like the pulse of a living star. Amidst the chaos, Marcus's thoughts flickered to the cost of this bond, the sacrifice it demanded, the risks he had willingly embraced. Alara's words echoed in his mind. One choice, one bond, forever intertwined fates. The artifact did not grant power without price, and the longer their connection deepened, the more Marcus sensed a growing hunger within the relic, a need for balance, for harmony between host and symbiote, lest one consume the other. Yet with each passing moment, he also felt a burgeoning strength, clarity of purpose, and the promise that together they might unlock the secrets necessary to protect not just themselves, but countless others from looming threats. When the last of the attackers were repelled, the battered ardent Voyager drifted in the dark silence of space, its systems groaning under strain, but its spirit unbroken. Marcus and Alara stood side by side in the dim glow of the command bridge, their bond forged in fire and tempered by shared resolve. The road ahead was perilous and uncertain, enemies still lurked in the shadows, and the artifact's secrets remained locked behind riddles older than the stars. But for the first time, hope burned bright. Chapter 3: Shadows of Pursuit. The ardent Voyager slipped silently through the black corridors of space, its engines a whisper against the backdrop of distant suns. Marcus sat in the captain's chair, the weight of command heavy but tempered by the connection he now shared with Alara. The bond with the artifact had reshaped him not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. Visions flickered at the edges of his consciousness. Ancient star maps, cosmic gateways, and cryptic symbols promising knowledge and power, but also warnings of dangers beyond comprehension. Alara, seated nearby and steadily recovering, spoke softly of their next steps, of hidden enclaves, lost temples, and alliances yet to be forged. But peace was fleeting. Across multiple star charts, sensor arrays blared with alerts. Hostile forces dedicated to capturing the artifact had mobilized. Mercenaries, warlords, and shadowy factions hunted relentlessly, their reach spanning star systems and nebulae. The artifact's power was both a beacon and a curse, drawing predators with an insatiable hunger. Marcus understood that survival demanded more than strength. It required cunning, trust, and unyielding resolve. As the ardent Voyager charted a course toward the rumored sanctuary of the ancients, an ancient race whose technology had birthed the artifact, Marcus and Alara prepared to face trials that would test the limits of their bond and the depths of their courage. Alliances would be forged and broken, secrets revealed and buried, and the fate of countless worlds would hinge on the choices they made. In the shadowed corners of the galaxy, eyes watched and waited. The hunt was far from over, and one choice, again and again, would define not only their survival, but the future of the stars themselves. The ardent Voyager moved like a ghost through the sprawling, star-studded darkness, its silhouette barely discernible against the glittering backdrop of distant nebulae and cold suns. Marcus Hale sat rigid in the captain's chair, the weight of responsibility heavier than ever pressing down on his shoulders. The bond forged with Alara and the artifact was no mere alliance. It was a fusion of two lives, two destinies, bound in a delicate dance of power and peril. Visions and whispers haunted the edges of his consciousness, fragments of ancient knowledge flooding his mind with cryptic star charts, blueprints of celestial gateways, and warnings of calamities yet to come. Each vision felt like a puzzle piece in a vast cosmic tapestry, but the picture remained incomplete and fraught with danger. Alara, now steadily regaining her strength, sat quietly nearby, her ethereal presence a calming anchor amid the storm of thoughts swirling through Marcus's mind. She spoke softly of the ancients, the long-lost civilization whose technology birthed the artifact and whose hidden sanctuaries might hold the key to controlling its overwhelming power. They built gateways, she explained, her voice a delicate thread woven with urgency and hope. Portals that span light years, mechanisms that can unlock or imprison energies beyond imagining. If we reach their sanctuary, we might find a way to master the artifact and protect ourselves from those who hunt us. But the shadows of pursuit lengthened across the void. Sensors aboard the ardent Voyager flared with constant alerts, encrypted transmissions, fast-moving contacts, unknown signatures slipping through detection grids. The hunters were relentless, mercenaries hired by shadowy factions, ruthless warlords hungry for power, and alien agents whose motives twisted like dark roots in the depths of space. The artifact's unique energy signature acted as a beacon, drawing predators from far corners of the galaxy who viewed Marcus and Alara as trophies or threats to be eliminated. Marcus convened with his officers in the cramped tactical room, the holographic star map spinning slowly before them as red blips marked hostile contacts. "We can't outrun them forever," he said grimly, his voice steady despite the tension. "We need allies, safe havens, and above all, knowledge. The ancient sanctuary is our best hope. But we have to be ready for everything: ambushes, sabotage, betrayal." His gaze swept across the faces of his trusted crew, each one a testament to resilience forged in the fires of countless battles. Alara's eyes met his, filled with determination and an unspoken bond that had grown stronger with every trial. "We will face the darkness together," she vowed. "The artifact chooses its bearer not just for power, but for strength to endure. We are linked, our fates intertwined. Whatever comes, we will survive." As the ardent Voyager navigated treacherous asteroid fields and slipped through shifting nebulae, Marcus felt the artifact's energy pulse in rhythm with his own heartbeat, a living presence that whispered guidance and warning. The bond was a double-edged sword, a source of immense strength, but also a tether to dangers unseen. Each day brought new challenges: cloaked ships appearing without warning, sensor jamming that threatened to blind them, and strange phenomena hinting at the ancient technologies guarding the ancient secrets. In the quiet moments between chaos, Marcus pondered the enormity of his choice: the sacrifice, the responsibility, and the hope that this bond could be the key to saving not just Alara's life, but countless others caught in the shadow of cosmic war. The path ahead was fraught with uncertainty, but with Alara by his side and the artifact's power coursing through them, he knew they were no longer alone in the vast, indifferent expanse of space. The chase was relentless, the stakes higher than ever. And somewhere beyond the swirling stars, the sanctuary of the ancients awaited, a place of light and shadow, where the fate of the artifact and the galaxy itself would be decided. Days blurred into nights as the ardent Voyager slipped deeper into uncharted territories, navigating star systems long abandoned by most explorers. The artifact's pulse was a constant, rhythmic thrum beneath Marcus's skin, a silent drumbeat linking him to Alara and the vast power they now carried together. But with power came peril. The hunters had intensified their pursuit, sending cloaked raiders and stealth fighters that struck like phantoms from the void, testing the ship's defenses and the crew's nerves. Every skirmish left fresh scars on the ship's hull and deeper furrows in Marcus's brow. Yet, through it all, his resolve never wavered. Alara had grown stronger, her connection to the artifact allowing her to channel bursts of energy that stabilized the ship's failing systems or unleashed blinding pulses to repel boarders. Together, they forged a partnership that transcended the bounds of biology, their minds entwined in moments of clarity and shared vision. During brief respites, Alara recounted tales of her home world, of ancient civilizations that had harnessed cosmic forces and ascended beyond physical form, legends that now seemed intertwined with their own fate. The sanctuary they sought was said to be guarded by tests and trials designed to protect the artifact's secrets from unworthy hands. But trust was a fragile commodity. The crew's morale ebbed and flowed like the tides of distant oceans, caught between hope and exhaustion. Whispers of doubt surfaced: was the artifact a blessing or a curse? Could Marcus truly bear the burden without losing himself? The lines between ally and foe blurred as shadowy figures approached under the guise of diplomacy, their true intentions cloaked in deception. Every new contact brought questions that demanded vigilance and caution. One evening, as Marcus stood at the ship's observation deck watching nebulous clouds swirl against the stars, Alara joined him. Her eyes reflected the starlight and a quiet determination. "The sanctuary is close," she said softly. "But the greatest test awaits not in the stars, but within ourselves. We must face it united." Her words resonated deeply. Marcus understood that their journey was not just a quest for survival, but a voyage into the unknown depths of trust, sacrifice, and destiny. Chapter 4: The Sanctuary's Secret. The ardent voyager approached a swirling vortex of energy nestled within a forgotten star cluster, the entrance to the ancient sanctuary. The gateway was a colossal structure of crystalline spires and shimmering fields, humming with latent power and wrapped in layers of energy that bent light and reality itself. As Marcus prepared the ship to navigate the gateway's turbulence, Alara's hands glowed faintly, her connection to the artifact resonating with the ancient energies that guarded this sacred place. Crossing the threshold was like stepping through a veil into another dimension. Time and space warped, stars danced in strange patterns, and the very laws of physics seemed fluid and malleable. Inside, the sanctuary was both awe-inspiring and daunting. Towering halls lined with intricate carvings that told stories older than memory, chambers filled with floating orbs of knowledge, and mechanisms that pulsed with the heartbeat of the universe. Here lay the answers they sought, but also the dangers that could consume them. Guided by visions and intuition, Marcus and Alara delved deeper into the sanctuary's heart, encountering ancient guardian sentient constructs designed to test the worthiness of those who sought the artifact's power. Each trial challenged their resolve, forcing them to confront fears, regrets, and the tenuous balance between power and responsibility. The bond between Marcus and Alara was pushed to its limits, their minds and spirits intertwined in a crucible of fire and trust. In the deepest chamber, bathed in radiant light, they uncovered the sanctuary's greatest secret. The artifact was not merely a tool, but a living consciousness, a guardian of cosmic balance, tasked with ensuring that power was wielded wisely. To harness its full potential, Marcus and Alara had to not only merge their strengths, but also embrace humility and sacrifice. The choice was theirs: to claim the artifact's power for protection or risk unleashing forces that could unravel reality itself. As the sanctuary's energies swirled around them, Marcus looked to Alara, their fates forever entwined by one choice, one bond, and the hope of saving not just a life, but a galaxy teetering on the brink of chaos. Their journey had led them here to the dawn of a new chapter where courage, trust, and love would be the true keys to unlocking a future beyond imagining. The chamber hummed with an almost sentient energy as Marcus and Alara stood at the threshold of the artifact's core, a pulsating crystalline heart suspended in midair by streams of shimmering light. The air was thick with a presence both ancient and alive, a consciousness that seemed to reach out and touch their very souls. Marcus felt the weight of countless eons pressing down upon him, the hopes and fears of civilizations long vanished, and the immense responsibility now resting on his shoulders. Alara's hand found his, their fingers intertwining as the bond between them pulsed in harmony with the artifact's rhythm, a sacred dance of life and power. The artifact's guardian voice echoed in their minds, a chorus of whispers and melodies that transcended language. It spoke of balance, the fragile harmony between creation and destruction, power and restraint, life and sacrifice. It warned that to wield the artifact's full strength was to accept a transformation, a surrendering of self to a greater purpose. One choice remains, it intoned, to bind the bearer as guardian or to release the power into the void, risking chaos and ruin. The weight of this decision settled like a storm between Marcus and Alara, their shared fate hinging on a single moment of courage. Marcus's thoughts raced through the faces of those he had vowed to protect: the crew, Alara, the countless innocent lives caught in the shadow of galactic conflict. To refuse the bond would mean forfeiting the power to save them. To accept it was to surrender his humanity to an unknown destiny. Yet, In Alara's steady gaze, he found solace and strength. Together, she whispered, we are more than one. We can bear this burden and shape the future with wisdom and hope. With a deep breath that steadied the tempest within, Marcus reached out and touched the crystalline core, the artifact flaring with radiant energy as it accepted his bond. A surge of light enveloped them both, a transformation that transcended flesh and mind, linking them to the cosmic consciousness of the ancients. They felt themselves dissolve and reforge, becoming conduits of a power that could heal worlds or shatter stars. When the light faded, Marcus and Alara stood transformed not as mere beings of flesh, but as living embodiments of hope and guardianship. Their bond was eternal, a fusion of human will and alien wisdom, capable of guiding the artifact's immense power toward protection and renewal. As they emerged from the sanctuary, the ardent Voyager responded to their command with renewed vitality, its systems restored by the artifact's touch. But their journey was far from over. The galaxy awaited, still fraught with danger, conflict, and uncertainty. Yet now, Marcus and Alara carried within them a beacon of light capable of illuminating the darkest reaches of space. Together, they would face the shadows, protect the innocent, and forge a new legacy born from one choice that had saved a life and, ultimately, the fate of countless worlds. As the ardent Voyager sailed onward into the infinite stars, Marcus looked to Alara and smiled with quiet resolve. This is only the beginning, he said. But whatever comes, we face it as one. And with that, the two bound souls stepped forward, guardians of a future written among the stars, where hope and courage would forever shine. The bond sealed with the artifact was not merely a union of power, but a melding of purpose that transcended all boundaries Marcus had known. As they stood in the radiant chamber of the ancient sanctuary, the artifact's energy flowed through their veins like a living river, illuminating memories of civilizations long vanished and dreams of futures yet unborn. The very air shimmered with the promise of creation and the solemn weight of responsibility. Marcus felt his senses sharpen and his mind expand, perceiving the vast cosmic network that connected stars and life across the galaxy. Alara, beside him, radiated an ethereal glow, her strength renewed, her spirit unbreakable. Together, they embodied hope, the fragile yet fierce force that could tip the scales in a universe teetering on the edge of chaos. Outside the sanctuary, the galaxy awaited their return, a canvas still marred by conflict and fear, but now alive with the possibility of peace. The ardent Voyager hummed with new vitality as the artifact's influence healed systems long dormant and infused its crew with renewed purpose. Marcus and Alara knew that their journey had only just begun. Enemies would still seek the artifact's power, shadows would rise to challenge the fragile light, but with the ancients' blessing and their bond unbreakable, they carried a beacon that could guide countless worlds toward harmony. In the days that followed, Marcus and Alara became symbols of unity and courage. They forged alliances among disparate factions, using the artifact's wisdom to mediate ancient grudges and broker peace. The once feared hunters became wary, their attempts to seize the artifact thwarted by the combined strength and resolve of those bound to protect it. Stories spread across star systems of the human and alien guardian who wielded a power that healed wounds both physical and spiritual, who inspired hope where despair had reigned. Yet, Marcus never forgot the price of their bond, the sacrifice demanded by the artifact and the constant vigilance required to maintain balance. In quiet moments, he and Alara shared their fears and hopes, their humanity and alien grace intertwining in a dance of trust and love. Their bond was a testament to the truth that sometimes, one choice born of courage and compassion could save a life, change a destiny, and reshape the very fabric of the stars. As the ardent Voyager sailed onward into the endless expanse, Marcus looked to the horizon of countless worlds, each a beacon of possibility. "We carry the light now," he said softly to Alara, "and we will never let it fade." The galaxy, vast and ancient, held its breath, and for the first time in eons, that breath was filled with hope.